All right. Look, I kind of messed up, y'all. Um, so I didn't know that all of my stuff wasn't like all connected together. You know what I mean? I keep forgetting that I'm an amateur at this, and I'm so prep worthy. Like I was an Eagle Scout. I was. Well, I ain't going to that, but nevertheless, I didn't realize that my YouTube wasn't like moving. First off, I'm not monetized. If you're watching this, you're not watching one of my monetized streams, so please go and support me. But nevertheless, my publicist hit me back and was like, why are you sending me all these videos? You still ain't sent me the one. And I forgot all about it. And that's this one now. So, look, this whole thing, this whole journey that y'all about to be partaking upon with me, it's not a global thing. It's not a people thing. It's a father thing. It's a man thing. It's a America thing. It's a black thing. It's a me thing. You're going to see a few videos that they wasn't made with the intention of the public eye. They was made for my sons. They was made for my daughters. I lived that American dream that a lot of y'all call a nightmare. And I want my children to understand the mind of the man that was raising them. Because I know I don't give them my opinion. I don't give them my thoughts at the most humbling level of me. Because that I reserve for my God. That I reserve for my kinship ancestry. I don't put that upon them. Because I don't ever want them to take it upon their destiny. I want them to always know that they are them. They will create them. They will have them. No influence. All influence. I was trying to do this approach in a way that my God has gifted me. And as a young man who was born in the 80s, I was definitely a product of Reaganomics. I was a product of the crack epidemic. I was a product of lost fatherhood. My father died of murder, before I hit double digits. I lived with my aunt. Before that, grandma was quite often the babysitter. We can go down the line, and I can tell you some real connections where I didn't spoke with so many. When I was in school, what really led me to the mind frame that I have now, beyond the eccentric, I just made up a word, the existential, is my ability now to relate. Because my thesis, when I was going to get my degree, was people. And it wasn't nothing, no Gandhi or special journey or anything. Honestly, I was trying to bullshit my way through. I was in the military, I was overseas, and everybody was giving me their advice on how to hurry up and get your degree. On the government time, government dime. So I chose to submit a essay based on a conversation with 1,000 people. I made it up to probably about 750 when I dropped out of school, and I decided that this wasn't worthy of an essay. This was worthy of me and my soul's attention. That the essay was doing nothing more than getting in the way. The objective of school curriculum was doing nothing but getting in the way of what my soul was really delivering me towards. And while meeting these people, while talking to these people, I started off with a standardized 25 questions. And after a few, I pretty much memorized the questions, and I realized that everybody got the same damn answers. But none of them are my answers. If you ever wanted to figure out my background, my story, I can tell you more. You'll come to understand a lot better if you actually take this journey with me. But I know I can't explain that to my sons. Not directly. Because I got too much disciplining to do. I can't get my daughter to comprehend that femininely without being overbearingly masculine within my approach. So one thing that I've noticed was common amongst most all my conversations, not just with them, but that I held most common with the people who study me. I mean, they all act exactly like me. You know, it hasn't been long since their mom's been gone that you can definitely tell that I am. they act exactly like me. But anyway, so I digress. I needed to let them know that I don't never give nobody my opinion. I don't never give nobody my actual thoughts. I give them that. I definitely don't call it politically correct or anything like that, but I give you that neutral. I always bring my energy back to neutral when I'm dealing with people, because very high, I'm extremely comfortable. Most of us are. When life is at a very high vibration, we're all in ecstasy. We love it there. We don't want anything to change. But extremely low, that's my comfort zone. Like, fuck Depression Kitty, yo. I go and I holla at Depression Everest, and I got my TV, my PlayStation down there, and not even hooked up to the internet. Like, that was my comfort zone. So the place I was most uncomfortable was at neutral. Not feeling nothing. Thinking about it. Letting my emotion guide me. Letting the chemicals that used to make the feeling that I had become the chemicals that express the emotion I'm having and I'm being. And that only happens if I keep my opinion away from other people's ears. But also know that we ain't supposed to give each other opinions. No way. I mean, they're opinions. Come on. Nevertheless, you can take that story in whichever direction you want to take it. But I know they're extremely important for a man, and I know that feelings do have value to the person that incurs the feeling. They just don't have value to anyone else, and they have value to that person that's having the feeling, because that feeling always points you directly at some notion of you that's contradicting you contradicting yourself. And those some big ass bikes. But it's always going to be you contradicting yourself. So when you have that feeling about something, there is something to be learned, but it's not going to come from the outside. And even when communication still needs to be had, even in that moment that the feeling is occurring, just set it to the side for a second. That's why meditation becomes important, but that's a whole nother video as well. So I really needed them to understand that I do have feelings. I'm not a robot. Like they like to believe. I have thoughts. I am. I'm human just like anybody else. I've come to understand that I have lived an eccentric life. I have had opportunities that, like I said, I've personally spoke with thousands of people on 4 different continents in 7 different countries. I fell in love with some of them. I fell in lust with some. I became befriended, bewildered, befuddled. The best, like my best friend lives in Canada. Love of my life lives in Houston. And don't get my words mixed up. What I'm saying probably ain't the same definition of what you're thinking. But just saying that I've lived a very normal and a very abnormal life. And when we break that down amongst each other, we find it's always the same amongst each other. We all have lived a very normal and a very abnormal life. And those parts that make it make sense, those are the parts we want to share so bad, because those are the parts that make your feelings jump up and down. But I don't share that. Like I said, I reserve that for me and my God when we sit down and we talk about life and how it's going, and when we envision our future. But I know that I had to figure out how to get it through to them amongst, let's just say, to this generation now, bless your soul. Because, yeah. So I thought that this would be a good route. So I started doing these a while ago. You'll notice that a lot of them are really out of order as to chronological per my life. But you also find that there's no Marvel order. There's no phase 2, phase 3. You can pick up anywhere, go in any direction of my life, my journey, and you can always find exactly where I'm at. And I want my children to understand that wherever, whenever, however, you can always find me exactly where I'm at. You just gotta want to. So, either way it go, I just thought I'd let everybody know if you wasn't understanding what you was looking at. Yeah. Got some daddying to do. I holla.